That's right, everyone. You're back. It is this time of the week again.
I think it's time to blow this scene. Get everybody stuff together. Okay, three, two, one, let's jam.
And that's exactly what we're going to be doing again. We're going to be jamming right now. We are jamming today, this week, with a very special guest. This guy here is an expert in one of the fields of investment, which has been quite controversial at times, but also very wide ranging. It's Bitcoin, and his name's Shaun. Please feel happy to ask any questions. I will be following all your comments on good old mobile. So feel free, ask anything. If you're watching this live, just basically put in the hashtag, put in the comment, hashtag live. If you're watching this on the replay, hashtag replay. Any questions that you ask will be answered. So guys, feel free, and let's give it a big round of a nice warm welcome to Shaun. How you doing today, Shaun?
Hello, Harry. Thank you for having me here tonight. It's absolutely wonderful to be here. And I love sharing information and education basically because everybody's going to need some education around the space. It might be new to some people, but it's been around for coming up for about 8, 9, 10 years, something like that. 2009. So it's 11 years now. So yeah, some people start learning, getting educated. I'm looking forward to this.
Well, I'm actually looking forward to this as well. But I do detect a slight. It's not totally an English accent. So tell us about yourself. Where are you from?
Yes, that's correct. I'm a South African. You can hear from my accent. I've been in London for 23, 24 years. I haven't lost the accent yet. I was born in Pretoria, South Africa. I was raised next to Kruger Park in a small place called Palabora. So, yes, I've seen real life lions in the bush. I've seen leopards. I've seen crocodiles. So, yeah, I've had that experience as a child. But hey, I'm in a concrete jungle these days, spreading the love all around what I do in cryptocurrency space.
And this is actually going to be really interesting. So, you've been in London for 23 years. Have you found your experience? You must have seen a lot of changes over that period of time.
Oh, yes. I mean, London has changed a lot. When I arrived the first time in London in 1998, I lived at Tottenham Court Road.
Hmm.
And even though that part of the city hasn't changed much, but if you go to Tottenham Court Road station these days, they're rebuilding it, revamping it.
Yeah.
And I haven't been back there for about 5 years. And I had to take my Google Maps out to go and find out where I used to live because I got completely lost. Because when I got out the station, it came out in a different part of it, which I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had to go make use of Google Maps. The skyline has changed. We've still seen all these new Gherkin, the what I call Gandalf's Tower, which is the shard.
Oh yeah,
I'm just
that
waiting
too.
for the eye to appear on top.
As well as the London Eye.
Exactly, we can move the London Eye on top of it. Makes it even more fun.
So you got into. How did you get into cryptocurrency or Bitcoin?
Well, it was back in 2015. I was still working full time in IT. I'm still doing my own IT contracting and stuff, but I was sitting there at home thinking I want to do something to build an extra income online. And I was looking around and I got involved with this network marketing type program.
Hmm.
And they only took payment as Bitcoin. They weren't a Bitcoin platform, they were an education type platform, but they only took Bitcoin as a payment.
Right.
And I didn't have a clue about Bitcoin. The person who introduced me told me go to a thing called Coinbase, create an account, buy Bitcoin, and make a payment. Now, so I've never made a Bitcoin payment, never bought Bitcoin, didn't understand it. I've heard of it. People told me about it when it came out because it was in the IT space, but I never took notice of it, because like most people, I only look at my money I can earn and spend on a daily basis. And so, yeah, I bought a $360 worth of Bitcoin, which back in those days were worth one Bitcoin was $360.
Hmm.
And I didn't have a clue what it was. And I figured out how to make the payment to this company, made the payment to this education business, and I got involved with the business. I didn't really get on with the business, but I spent or made my first Bitcoin transaction back in 2015. Today, I can kick myself. I spent 360 on one Bitcoin, and one Bitcoin is worth $10,000 today.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I made myself a bit of a loss, and someone else is walking around with a smile today who owns that Bitcoin today. But hey, you have to learn somewhere. I learned the hard way, and I'm here to help people who want to get involved. They journey when they start out easier. I don't want people to make mistakes like I did and it's costly mistakes. You rather have somebody who can hold your hand, ask you, or you can ask questions to and say, don't do that way, be careful for this. Let's look at the better way of doing it and teach people because I'm rambling on a bit here, but the biggest mistake most people do in Bitcoin is they do not get educated in it. They start off straight away, and that's when people start losing money.
And that's why I wanted to invite you on board to, get these kind of things happening because in this area, thankfully within my group, there's such a varied number of different people from all walks and shapes of background, including, the employment part or self-employed part that they come from. It's not all mortgage advisors or financial advisors, which is really shocking because most of the other mortgage advisor groups that I frequent have got nothing but mortgage advisors in there. So I must be doing something wrong.
You're not
But
going to like it. You never know.
maybe it's interesting. So, what is Bitcoin?
So Bitcoin is basically a digital currency, it's digital money. It's money you can't touch and put in your pocket, but you can spend it online. It was originally designed as a peer-to-peer system.
Hmm.
Now, basically, to put it in easy terms for people, it's no different than me having £100 or £50 in my pocket, and I go to Harry and say to him, "There's the £100." But
Yeah.
instead of giving me this physical paper money, I could send the money from my account straight to his account digitally without going to his house to give him physical cash. Now, people will say, "Oh, it sounds like my normal bank account." Well, it's not exactly the same as your normal bank account because within Bitcoin, you own the money. Well, people in the banking world will say to me, well, if you put my money in the bank, it's still my money. To a certain extent, it is your money, and to other extent, it becomes the bank's asset because the bank borrows that money out to somebody else. They need your money to become an asset to make money from that money.
Hmm.
But in the Bitcoin world, you own that physically, and you track your own transaction that you do. So Bitcoin is there's a lot of explanation around what is a Bitcoin. For those people who's brand new, just see it as a digital form of money, and it's a very, very secure form of digital money.
Can you buy? Do you have to buy a whole Bitcoin, or can you buy part of it?
So with Bitcoin, you can buy a part of a Bitcoin. Now, one Bitcoin gets split into a million. So where our pound gets split in our dollar and our rands, they get split in 100 because it's
Hmm.
1.00. So it's £1 and 50 pennies. Where Bitcoin gets split to 1 to a millionth at the end.
Hmm.
You can literally go and buy $10 worth of Bitcoin, which could be, if it's $10,000 or £10,000 for one, as an example, and you buy $10, it will be 0.00010 of a Bitcoin will be about your £10. So it's something new you're going to learn when you get involved with it because you're going to start knowing what the value of a Bitcoin is against a dollar or the pound value. And you're going to ultimately, over time, when you see the value, you're going to say, okay, it is roughly about that price. Just like people when we got the British pound and we switched from pennies and shillings, and well, from shillings and half crowns, we just ended with pennies and pounds. People had to adapt to learn just that part of the currency. And when say the Germans got rid of the German franc and they went to the euro, they had to learn the new values of the euro. The same thing what you're going to do here when you get involved with crypto. You're going to learn the dot and with a millionth behind it, basically. And you can buy it. Buying it is most part of the easy part. Keeping it, storing it, keeping it safe is a different matter again. Complete different matter.
Well, and that's also fascinating, guys. If you're watching this live, let us know. Put in hashtag live. Let us know. I want to make sure that this is working. If you've got a question, please put something in. We want to know that the systems that we're using are working. And again, you know, for the financial advisors who are watching this now or watching it on the replay, you may very well have a question on it because am I right in saying Bitcoin is part of the alternative investment market?
It's I won't
Or is-
go. Well, some people would say it's alternative. Some people say it's the only one. It really depends on the view for an investment. I don't really like to use it as investment because it wasn't really designed as investment. Even though, same with gold. Gold wasn't designed by nature as an investment portfolio, but people today use gold as an investment portfolio. The same with Bitcoin. Now, I'll show you this because this is my digital Bitcoin wallet.
Yeah.
Where I store some Bitcoins and cryptos on it. So just to give people a bit of a visual expertise. As an investment vehicle for Bitcoin, you have to be very careful because there's a lot of things out there where people will show you nice things you can make fast money, and the percentages people make in the crypto world is much higher than in a conventional fiat money world. You will get people make trade forex and maybe make 3 or 5% a month, but in the crypto world, people can make 10, 15% a month. And you have to be careful where you put that money because the biggest mistake people do, they do not treat Bitcoin when they bought it the first time as money. They still think in the pound value and the dollar value when they own it, but they forget that the digital money of Bitcoin is still money. It's something, a store of value. It's got a proof of work behind it. And we can talk a bit about proof of work and store value as well, which gives it the value of the value increasing in value for an investment vehicle, because this is what investors are looking for. If I invest my money into property, I'm expecting the price to go up. And if I rent it out, I'm expected to make my rent straight away. If you get into gold, you expect that the gold price will be stable. It will go up steadily as well. And it's a store of value because it doesn't lose its value over time. The same thing when you're going to look into Bitcoin. Where am I going to keep it safe? Is it going to be a store of value? Am I keeping it with a different type of wallets? We can talk a bit about the different wallets as well, because when people get in, they hear about Bitcoin wallets and they hear about Bitcoin and all these different things. But you really need to understand it's money. And when you get involved in Bitcoin, treat it as money, treat it as something that you own. Treat it the same as you have £100 in the bank or £100 in your pocket. Don't treat it any other way. And if you have a Bitcoin wallet, do not share the Bitcoin wallet address just with anyone or your login details, because you don't share your PIN number with people.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure you keep that information safe for yourself. And because we're moving in a different world, we can talk a little bit about as well. How do I make sure if I pass away, how can my family access it? Because if I have money in the bank or I own a property, it goes into my portfolio.
Yeah.
And when I die, the lawyers will deal with that. But if you own Bitcoin and it's in a device like that, no one knows you own it. How are you going to deal with that to make sure that this wealth transfer from you to your next generation as well? And this is a lot of things that people make a mistake when they get involved, because they don't necessarily make backup copies of Bitcoin. I think since Bitcoin was started and founded since 2009 when it was mined, because mining is the creation process of Bitcoin, there's about 4 million Bitcoins which has gone missing or lost, basically, because back in the days when people created it and they started mining Bitcoin and they got involved, Bitcoin was worth a couple of pennies, a couple of pence. So people never thought it was going to go anywhere. I think in 2000, and was it 2016, there was a guy in the UK who was crying his eyes out. He was on the landfill, stuck into the landfill because a couple of years before he mined Bitcoin. He saved it on his laptop. The laptop died and he threw the laptop away. Never took the hard drive out, never made a backup of the Bitcoins. And somewhere in a landfill is a laptop with a lot of Bitcoin on it, which could be worth millions today.
I have no idea what just happened just now. This is what happens when you go live. And again, they could be listening.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I didn't know what happened as well.
Yeah. Just give me a second, Shaun, while I'm bringing you back in. Can you try hit the button again?
Okay, 1 second. We try that again. Oh, it's a button.
Yeah, Be Live as an app. I'm gonna be writing to you guys. I may be in the top 20% of Be Livers out there, based upon this. But come on, guys, you gotta do better. All right, let's get Shaun back in.
It's disappeared.
You come in and you disappear. Try it one more time.
Let's do this.
Yeah. Hopefully this will bring up the views.
I can see my camera still on.
Yeah, that's a weird thing. Yeah, because you can't. Right, it's clicking in and out. Okay, let's do this. Okay, you are back in. 2, 1. Brilliant.
Oh, I'm back.
Oh, yes. Sorry about that, guys. Minor technical delays. Be Live, I will be writing to you. Yeah, I'm not happy with what's going on here. Thank God you're free. Okay. But where were we? We were talking about Bitcoin itself. The mining So there's going to be a landfill where it's going to have a lot of Bitcoin millions. It's going to be worth millions. And where is it, in the UK or was it?
Yeah, this was one guy. This was just one example of one person in the UK who had I think it was up in Manchester or Liverpool, around that area.
Okay, I know a couple of people around there.
Who was mining back in the day, and he threw the laptop away and Bitcoin skyrocketed suddenly in price, and then he was looking around. But he's not the only one. It's a lot of people. The most famous story is we celebrate something called Bitcoin Pizza Day. It's sort of in the beginning of the year, because the first original Bitcoin payment transaction was done. I've forgot the guy's name in the States, who bought a pizza, which I think bought 2 pizzas for about $30. He made a Bitcoin payment transaction with Bitcoin, and I'm back again.
Yeah, same here. Don't know what happened there. We just faded in and out. Okay. What is mining? Because you keep hearing these phrases about I'm mining Bitcoin. So because it's not like a tangible asset like gold, diamond, that kind of stuff. How can you mine a digital asset?
So sort of the similar type of fashion that people go and get a pick and shovel and wheelbarrows, go and take this stuff out of the ground. To get the stuff that's in the cryptocurrency space that goes on your digital wallet, you're going to need what is known as a computing power, which is computers. And a computer is basically what we use for the mining process. And the mining is basically a mathematical formula. So cryptocurrency is designed on a mathematical formula, and behind the mining servers is also the blockchain technology, which helps create the next Bitcoin. Now, how to create the next Bitcoin is we need to have transactions going through the blockchain, so people spending Bitcoin, and it's fees that get charged, very minimal fees, and those fees form part of the mathematical calculation, and it solves the next problem, which creates the next Bitcoin. In the mining world, back in the day when Bitcoin started, every 10 minutes, there were 50 Bitcoins created.
Yeah.
4 years later, it halved. Now, in Bitcoin is something known as the halving, which is part of the mining process. So every 4 years, or for those people who's technical, is every 210,000 blocks in the blockchain, the Bitcoin halves. We had a halving this year again, where we actually were gone down from 12.5 Bitcoins created every 10 minutes to 6.25 Bitcoins created.
Right.
So it becomes actually more and more limited into the market as well. It's not something that's unlimited. It will only ever be created through the mining process of Bitcoin, only 21 million Bitcoins in existence. Now,
right. So because there's a limit, that explains everything. Because there's a limit. It's like stocks and shares, which are issued by a company or bonds. Because there's a limited bond. Best example would be government bonds. Because the gilt-edged bonds, because there's very limited amount there, that pushes up the value, the supply versus demand.
That's
You
good.
know, and companies do that as well when they want to make sure that their share prices are far more affordable. They'll issue out free shares. You know, so you've got the same thing going on with Bitcoin. It's the same principles there. You keep the limitation, keep it through mining, and then that way it creates a demand factor that pushes up the value of the coin itself,
Yes, because it's
each
limited.
individual coin.
And other than bonds, which get paid off by companies, people borrow them, make the bonds from the government pay you as an investor back 1% or whatever the percentage in your bond.
Mm.
In the Bitcoin space, as I mentioned, 4 million Bitcoins has sort of disappeared, not just disappeared, but they sit in wallets which will never move again because people send it to wrong places. They forgot to back it up. They forgot where they
Yeah.
saved it. So actually, in a matter of fact, if we have got about 18 million roundabout mine today, and 4 million is sort of gone by mistake.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're literally down to 14 million in the industry.
Sort of like, you know, the UK government losing 16,000 tests. If you're watching this a little bit later on down the road, you know, and hopefully there's no coronavirus left, if you're watching it at that sort of time, this is when we could be going into lockdown 2 in the UK.
The only difference is that people cry for different reasons.
Yeah.
For the testing, they cry for a different reason. For the people lost the bitcoins, they cry for a different reason as well. Still tears,
Well,
but different tears.
it's interesting because if they're stored, where are they stored? They're stored cloud based, or are they stored?
Okay, so for Bitcoin, when if somebody's brand new
Hmm.
and they get involved with Bitcoin, and they want to buy $10 worth of Bitcoin or 10 pounds or 100 pounds worth of Bitcoin, I personally recommend to find a web wallet. Now, a web wallet is a third-party company. It's a company like very famous in the world, is known as Coinbase. For me personally, in the UK, I recommend people go to Wirex. And the
Hmm.
reason why I select Wirex for the UK is because Wirex is actually FCA regulated.
Right.
And they also give you a Visa prepaid card, which is going to be linked to your pound wallet with a bank account, UK bank account details attached to it. That's why they are FCA regulated as well. So if you get involved in crypto, you're brand new and you want to buy, check out Wirex because I won't say it's safe because ultimately it's still a third party company, somebody else who are holding your Bitcoin. Now, an important part of Bitcoin is for people to get involved. Bitcoin is built as a technology, and the technology is cryptography. So it encrypts the money value or the payment value and the payment details, your name and those type of details encrypted. And it's two keys. It's very important. One is known as a public key, and the other one is a private key. Now, the private key, you require the public key to unlock your private key. And both these two keys forms your Bitcoin. Now, if you go to a web wallet like Wirex, you will have access and you can have control over your public key. But on your private key will be stored on their servers, on their platform. It's out of your control. But it's a good point when you start because you're going to learn to get a bit more comfortable and start. I say to people, start with a small amount because it's going to, as I said, the reason why I say small amount is because if people come in with a large amount and they don't have that mentality that Bitcoin and crypto as digital assets is money, they will not treat it in the same way as money. So
Hmm.
start with small amounts, start what you can afford. Never put, I say to people, never put your bread and milk money, your mortgage money, your rent money into anything like this. Start small with what you have spare. So go to Warex, you can open an account, and play a little bit around and see how that works. You're going to have to do your KYC with him, which stands for Know Your Customer. And that is basically because it's part of the FCA
Yeah.
regulations for Wirex to have that.
Hmm.
As you progress and you get more comfortable, I teach people a bit about desktop wallets, which becomes like a sort of a what we move into a cold type storage wallet. It's not really cold; it becomes like a lukewarm type wallet. Because basically, it's an application you can install on your desktop, and you can store your own bitcoins on your laptop. You can store it on your phone. You can have a desktop. You can download the application and store your bitcoins on it. And you can make a backup of that into the cloud as well. So now you're starting to become a bit more advanced. You now start taking control of your own money. Now you're going to own the private key and the public key. But the problem is not everybody is computer confident,
Yeah.
and they will lose their laptops, and because they will have to make a backup of it, and there will be backup keys that they need to make note of, and they will write it down and forget where they write it down, or they save it on the same laptop and the laptop blow up and they can't access anything. So I'll teach people around that side to always have your Bitcoin wallets, your lukewarm wallets, details separate. Have it on your phones. Make sure it's synced to your desktop laptop so you can have two access points to it. And if there's backup keys, write it down. Put it in a safe place. Put it in the same place you put your passport, because you're going to look after your passport and you're going to make sure nobody steals your passport. You're going to do the same thing with this. And then I move on and I teach people about things like these, which is a Trezor wallet. Now, Trezor is what's known as a cold storage wallet. It's very much for the people in the retail industry like us who gets involved in it. In the corporate world for hedge funds, they get also cold storage wallets, cold storage devices, which is not doesn't look like these, which looks like a server type devices where they store them on. But this is plenty for you. There's also one called the Nano Ledger, and this is where I physically own my money as well. It doesn't have a battery in, so people can't come in, turn on, and move your money. It powers up with a cable to your phone or cable to your laptop, and then you can access your money. And with this, you own your own Bitcoin as well. You own a private and public key because this is your own money. And this is when you start evolving, you start building it up as a portfolio. You get one of these or a Nano Ledger. There's got different type of these devices out there, but I do courses where I take people through it as well. We've done one about just over a month ago with people in my group as well. People is brand new to Bitcoin, never done it, who learned about all these different type of storage devices.
Well, again, you come from an IT background, and just generally, for most people out there, it's good practice to back things up on more than one storage device. You know, have a cloud-based system. Again, from a financial perspective, the FCA, whether you're with a network or directly authorized, they will always recommend that you have three storage types: a hard copy, a desktop version, and something in the cloud. You know,
Oh,
or like Google Drive or something like that, because again, it's accessibility and bringing it down and all the rest of that kind of stuff. It's data at the end of the day, something that you need to encrypt. And again, you know, from your background, you're able to do that. Guys, so far, no questions, but I think a lot of people are paying attention to this and are quite curious about this. Again, whenever you're watching this, whether you're watching this live now, give us a question, give us a like, give us a thumbs up, let us know you're there. If you are watching this on the replay, put a hashtag replay, because we know a lot of people watch us on the replay. You know, for obvious reasons, people get on with life. I understand that. You know, I'm one of those guys. But in the meantime, this is one of those videos that you can come back to. Please ignore the bloopers. It is live at the end of the day. But if you've got any questions that you want to throw in there, please do. Shaun is here to answer those questions. And as part of this group, he's doing this exclusively for this group. So thank you, Shaun. Based upon that, we did have a few questions. Now, you did actually mention that with Bitcoin, rather than dividing the actual coin, like your £1 coin, dividing it into a unit of 100 pennies, you can actually divide it into a unit of 1 million fractions. So with Bitcoin currently being standing at around 8,893 US, British pounds at the moment, you could buy a fraction for maybe up to £100 worth, $100 worth, or £100 if you're watching in the UK. Like what you said, start small. I suppose you can start smaller, maybe $50 or $20 or £50, whatever is more comfortable for you until you get more used to the actual investment.
That's correct.
Now, this kind of investment, you don't actually play on the stock market. So it's based upon the rarity factor. So you just have to buy, sit back, hold, and just let it grow like a tree.
There are different ways. In the world, we have cryptocurrency exchanges, just like we have exchanges which trade stocks. Or everybody knows NASDAQ, and everybody knows NASDAQ is technology driven and stuff. for the tech companies. There are exchanges in the world that does exactly the same for crypto, because cryptocurrency, well, when you have pounds and you go to a holiday in America, you want to exchange it for dollars, because they're not going to accept your British pounds.
Hmm.
So we have cryptocurrency exchanges. We can exchange your paper money, your fiat money into Bitcoin or Ethereum. You can also exchange, some of the exchanges now taking gold, and you can exchange it for Bitcoin and Bitcoin for gold. So the market is evolving. We are literally at the brink of a new decade, which is going to be a cyber start of a decade. We're in the fourth industrial revolution, and Bitcoin is going to be the granddaddy of the money for the fourth industrial revolution. It's opened the doors to multiple things in that space.
Now, this leads on to the next questions, and you might like these. So, when I was pointing this out, one person actually said to me, "This is a scam, right?" I honestly thought Bitcoin was a scam. It's like, I'm just throwing my money away. Now, it is an intangible product, so you're not seeing how it actually works. And like what you said, there are ways of things happening. But how would you say that this is just like any other investment?
Well, I've heard this so many times that people say Bitcoin is a scam. There's only because of how the media perceive it and give the message over. Bitcoin is just a technology. Bitcoin is nothing more than what your smartphone is. But your smartphone is not a scam. But give this to a hacker, it turns into a criminal weapon. If you have $100, if you see the people dealing with drugs in the streets and stuff, they don't deal with Bitcoin. They take pounds, hard cash. They will take your money for that. But nobody will call the British pound a scam because it's hard cash. It's just how people perceive it. Bitcoin is a technology. Bitcoin itself is not a scam. It runs on a technology called the blockchain. And every transaction is recorded in that blockchain. The blockchain is basically accounting ledger. It's a journal. It records what's going in or what's going out. But it doesn't record your name because you have the public key that I mentioned before. And that shows up in there. So you can see exactly which wallet spent how much Bitcoin publicly. So you can actually track it. But if I take £100 cash and I make a deal with someone, I give them £100, nobody in the world is going to know I give them £100. Nobody can track it. They can only track it if I go to my bank and my bank make the digital payment and it comes on my bank statement. So there's a misconception that Bitcoin is a scam. Bitcoin is a technology. It's designed as a technology. It's used as a technology. But any technology or anything in life can be used for criminal activity or scam activity. So in the fact of Bitcoin is a scam, there's companies out there which will claim they trade Bitcoin. And people put money in there because it's part of the process of catching people. Just put money in because ultimately they're after making money. You have the same thing in our paper money with our pounds. So it is fake forex companies promising they're going to make you all this money with your British pounds trading in this forex or stocks and shares, and people put money in there. So those companies are causing the scams. And they are taking the people's money because people are very, I would use the word gullible, because most people do not do a proper due diligence when it gets to finances. They are all looking to make more money as quick as possible. That's where people start losing money and getting burned in the space. And especially in the crypto space, it's a new industry. I always say to people, if people guarantee you any return, run. Don't even look at it. But Bitcoin itself is a technology.
That's interesting because you did actually talk about criminal elements. This was another question that was asked because when Bitcoin, and again, media, because when Bitcoin and the media first started getting out there in certain elements of the media, they were talking about the dark web and that Bitcoin is actually the preferred transactional method for people using the dark web. Now, the dark web, for most people who would haven't understand what the dark web is, it's not a good place. But for those who are like myself, a little bit more naive, and it's not a place for what you would, you can do transactions for things like hitman, death, that kind of stuff, or more perverted stuff, which is not really hence why it's called the dark web, because to even access it and to get into the web, you have to go through a various sort of like nudge, nudge, wink, wink type things. It's not easy, and not saying that I've tried it. I'm not going to. It's not my bag, but the way how a lot of people have described it is something to be aware of. But they were saying that yeah, dark, it's not traceable, and therefore Bitcoin was a lot more easier to use, to do transactions for illegal activities. Is that correct?
Well, Bitcoin had a bad name in the beginning because there were websites out there who was on the dark web trying to use Bitcoin back in the day. And I think Ross Ulbricht is the guy's name. He had a website called Silk Road, and they sold illegal stuff like drugs and stuff like that on it, and they took Bitcoin as a payment. Um, to a certain extent, he proved that Bitcoin is working because people make digital payment systems, regardless of what was sold on it. So he proved it can be used as a proper mechanism of payment. But he got caught, and he went to jail. Even today, I think he's out of jail. He's walking around with a permanent, what they call a tag around his ankle in America, because of the blockchain technology. If you have a blockchain with a blockchain technology, and you can see publicly the ledger of the money that's been spent from one wallet to the next wallet, you can track this, the wallets. Sometimes it takes much more difficult. There are experts in the field that can track the transactions. It's not an easy job to do to find out who owns it, but most ordinary people will make use of web wallets. They will use wallets like Coinbase, Wirex. They could use something like crypto.com or cryptopay.me, CoinJar. There's loads of these web wallets out there. And they will mostly go onto these sites and buy these things as not needed. But because those websites is registered and they take KYC, they know your account. You've got an account with Coinbase, and that Coinbase is giving you that public key address. The governments and legal authorities can trace it back to them. So the real hardcore criminals, they will use cold storage because it becomes much more difficult to find out whose name is attached to this because there's no KYC on this device. So yeah, there are people use it. The people in the beginning got caught out, and they can track it. But the governments are putting a lot of money into it, not just governments, but also people in the blockchain space, because we want to make it legal. We want to share it with people. This is a true, real legal system to use. This is better than paper money, because the most transactions are used in the illegal space, like trading guns and drugs and stuff like that. In the physical space today, still by paper money, still via British pounds and the US dollars.
Right. So, can Bitcoin be set up in different countries? Because that also brings in what you was talking about, cross-border regulations. Right now in the UK, you buy in the UK, you're under the FCA. If you bought and the PRA, because again, it's under new investment. But if you bought in, let's say, a non-regulated country, let's say the Middle East, one of the Middle East countries, let's go and say Yemen as an example. They may not have the technology for it, but they don't have the regulatory authority for it either. Can there be ways of manipulating the origin factors?
Bitcoin is anyone can buy it. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, because you still buy the same technology, still buy the same Bitcoin. In that sense. From a regulatory perspective, each country in the world or jurisdiction will treat Bitcoin in its own different right. There is a website which I can share with people, maybe on a
yeah, leave the website on the link after our interview. That'd be great.
Which give people an indication of the regulatory ways how different countries treat it. Like, for instance, in places like, I think it's Australia or New Zealand, they actually treat Bitcoin as bartering goods.
Mm-hmm.
They don't treat it as a digital asset and a currency. In the UK, we treat Bitcoin as a currency. Other countries might treat Bitcoin as a commodity. So it falls underneath those different regulations. And if it falls underneath the bartering goods in some countries, there's not real regulations on bartering goods, because you can use cows and shells for bartering if you want.
Yeah,
So
cows as well. Yeah.
So it really depends around that. In the UK, the FCA has announced recently that any crypto digital assets that's used for derivatives for retail people, investors in the UK is now banned. It's not allowed. Now, that doesn't mean you cannot buy Bitcoin, you cannot buy Ethereum, you cannot trade it. It just means if you use it as a derivative. Now, a derivative is if you use it to back your currency as a security. So that's not allowed for ordinary retail people.
Right.
Because it becomes a financial instrument in the banking world, and retail people will lose money because if they do not understand the principles and the market around securities, they will definitely lose their money. I usually say to people, if you have new people in the crypto space trading or new people in the forex space, remember the 90-90 rule. You have 90% of the retail new people in the retail industry lose 90% of the money. That's why I always advise people, if you do start, don't take your bread and milk money. Take that spare pennies in your tin underneath your bed that you save up next to the phone, and take that and go play around and learn. Because that's the only way to be confident.
Well, again, a little bit of history for me. When I was working out in Geneva, one of the top advisors out there in terms of investments, he would call it spice money because it was disposable money. You can actually play with it, you know, and it didn't affect your day-to-day living or anything like that. You know, it is that sort of money that you want to have to one side to build up your dreams and put into investment. Ultimately, you want to protect yourself and take care of other things. I will say this, guys, if you're listening to someone singing in the background, that's my son who should be revising for his mock exams, but unfortunately, you know, he's taking a break at the moment playing Rocket League. But you know, we've all been there. We're all like that, you know. So don't worry, Drake is still one of the top selling artists out there, and of course, he's gonna have fans. Okay, right. Sorry about that, guys. It's live. Anything can happen. If I've had a baby come on to, be shared with one of my guests, then you know anything can happen. And that's why I like this so much, because anything does happen. But yeah, we were talking about Bitcoin. We're talking about the different regulations that go with it, how it's actually recognized. Can you set different Bitcoins up? Can you own more than one Bitcoin?
You can own as many Bitcoins as you want as well. So, I always recommend to people, when you start and get confident, try and collect as many as you can, because it has increased in value. One of the main reasons why I say it, Bitcoin has got what I mentioned before, it's got a proof of work behind it. Because a proof of work is the blockchain and the mining, because there's physically machines working behind creating it. So, and that costs money. There's a cost attached to creating Bitcoin. So there's something tangible to make it in existence. It's not just one or two servers or got nerds with glasses hiding in mom's basement anymore. It's now proper companies. It's corporate companies building out like Genesis Mining, which is one of the biggest mining companies in the West. There are companies called Bitmain in Asia with thousands and thousands of these servers building infrastructure around it.
I've actually seen that as well. I've actually seen a Bitcoin machine, a mining machine, and it was literally just cogs turning in the background in a glass machine, and you could see where it was going to a separate server, a separate computer. You could see the coins being mined, and when a coin was mined, ting, because they knew they had something there that was tangible, digitally wise, they could move on, you know, sell on. It is a fascinating product. There's no denying it. You know, and reading up about Bitcoin in just in general, you know, I'm looking at LinkedIn, I'm looking at Facebook, and different groups are now building up because they see that there's something going to be happening in the future with Bitcoin as a cryptocurrency that's going to challenge traditional currency, the dollar, the pound, rupee, because again, you're now getting funds being built up in India and that sort of subcontinent that is going to be very, very good in terms of, you know, how much they can, what their worth is going to be as funds, and they're getting huge investors because India's got the second biggest population on the planet. So, you know, it's got the most billionaires per capita. You know, most billionaires, I believe, that they house in the planet at the moment. You know, So yeah, and I think a lot of them are being created through or using part of their investment money and putting it into Bitcoin because they're seeing something for the digital future. Uh, Reading about Forbes, Forbes are saying the same kind of thing. There's traders out there. So here's the thing: can Bitcoin also be used for things like, let's say, Amazon purchases or eBay purchases?
So there's actually there is a company out there which is a third party company to Amazon. So Amazon don't take directly Bitcoin because I know Amazon's got their own internal coin that they use, their own internal money or coin system that they use for their own payments that you can purchase. But there is a third party company. I think there's two or three of them out there which you can actually make a Bitcoin payment and buy Amazon goods. Microsoft, you can go to your Microsoft website. You can buy your Microsoft licenses for your software, your laptops in Bitcoin as well. If you're wealthy enough, you can go and buy a Lamborghini
No way.
with Bitcoin. Yes, Lamborghini's been taking Bitcoin for maybe for 5 years now. So yeah, that's a if you 5 years ago bought Bitcoin, well, Lamborghini for 300,000 with Bitcoin back then, when Bitcoin was $1,000. Lamborghini is walking around with a massive smile on their face today. But there's a lot of places around. There are a lot of websites out there as well that take sure Bitcoins. I forgot a couple of the names now, but I can share that information with people. Some parts in the world, you can go to Burger King or to the sandwich with the sandwich shops called I forgot
Subway?
Subway. Subway, yeah. Some parts in the world, Subway and Kentucky Fried Chicken and Burger King takes Bitcoin as a payment in some parts in the world, not everywhere in the world, not in the
Would that
UK.
be Dubai?
Quite possibly, quite possibly. There's a few places around the world. We do see more and more places in the UK coming on board as well. Very small companies is bringing it on as well. So you just, if you want to spend your Bitcoin in a shop, have a look at the window where you see the Visa Mastercard. If you see the Bitcoin logo there, you can actually spend it there. I've got a news agency not far from my house, which actually got a Bitcoin ATM in the shop, and they take Bitcoin as a payment as well because they've got their payment system there, and they can use it. Will we see Bitcoin become more majorly used in the world? I think a lot of Bitcoiners would want it and believe it. It will, but personally, I don't see it. I think Bitcoin has opened the door for new technologies, especially with the blockchain, how we can use it and how we can digitally transfer money. I believe Bitcoin personally will become an investment vehicle for the wealthy. So already you can see a lot of hedge funds,
Hmm.
corporate companies owning Bitcoin. Grayscale, for instance, in another company in the world owns $6.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. That's just over 600,000 Bitcoins between two hedge funds in the
Yeah, I
world.
think pension companies are going, and life insurance companies are going the same way as well.
Yep, exactly.
They're having to diversify their asset bank, so to
Yeah.
speak.
So that for me, Bitcoin will become ultimately an investment vehicle. And because it's limited, it's a great investment vehicle. And because you can store it digitally and they can back it up, it will be. What has Bitcoin done for the world? It opened the doors to open other cryptocurrencies.
Mhm.
2011, we saw the birth of Litecoin, which was the second cryptocurrency in the world.
Yeah,
After that, in 2016, we had Ethereum that came up as well in the world. And this year, 2020, if people go and Google it, you can actually go to the website of the Bank of England. They're actually running a project for CBDC, which stands for Central Bank Digital Currency, which is blockchain money. It's built on a blockchain technology. It's a they call it hyperledger as well,
mm.
technologies. So they are having Zoom calls around it, so people can get involved with that as well, give their opinion. So is the European Central Bank doing the same thing. The Federal Bank in America has just announced they're doing a similar thing.
Mm.
China has actually already launched their platform a couple of months ago in pilot stage. Uh, the Riksbank of Sweden, they launched a pilot for something called e-krona, which
Mm.
is a CBDC digital cryptocurrency run by central banks. So this is what the normal people in the streets is going to use. They're going to use a cryptocurrency which is controlled by the central banks, which will ultimately replace our current money system that we have in the world. I'm absolutely one of the people might say I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I do believe our paper money will come to zero. Over history, that if we look back over the history of fiat money since the beginning of man, all fiat money at some point failed, gone back to the intrinsic value of zero.
Mm.
So always going to be evolving technologies around it. Back in the day, um, back I think in the Summer Dynasty, if you can read about that, they had a fiat money system, which is a paper-based currency like we have today. It lasted 700 years. The Romans had gold and silver as a fiat-based system, and they debased it by mixing the gold when they started running out of gold with copper and stuff like that to give it the yellow color, and silver they mixed with other metals like lead and stuff just to give it the same color. And the population realized, hang on, my money is debasing here and losing value because I don't have pure gold anymore and pure silver. And it's the same thing we're seeing now. We see quantitative easing, inflation, negative interest rates, and we see we work much harder. We still earn the same sort of money. So personally, I
It's
believe
inflation.
we are looking. The governments are looking. The central banks are looking to replace it with something which is going to be much easier. Paper money spread viruses. Your debit card. People say, "But I've got a debit card." But your debit card spread viruses. You need to touch it with something else. With Bitcoin, I have a QR code that appears on my screen when I make a transaction, and I just hold it up to a scanner, and it scans the QR code, and the transaction is paid.
That's the next part, because obviously in the future there's got to be a separate way of being able to pay for the ordinary things, shopping, like Tesco's or Sainsbury's or Lidl, the cab company journeys like with Uber. So obviously they're going to be looking at a way that's going to be a transaction based, and again, yes, money does change over time. The either the mold of money is always going to stay the same. You're going to use it. The same purpose of money is always going to be to pay for goods and services.
That's
You know,
right.
it's a unit. Bitcoin, the name behind it is ultimately that's the goal. That's going to be the next goal. And again, being able to trade it as well is having that sort of regulation to try and define universally what it is. Like what you said, every country has a different definition behind it. Is it a commodity? Is it a barter tool? What is Bitcoin essentially? And I think over a period of time there'll be a the international banks out there, the World Bank, they will harmonize it all.
Oh,
Um, that's my theory anyway. Guys, we've got 7 minutes left. If you've been enjoying this, I've seen a lot of people coming on, seen a lot of people. I'm hoping that you guys have been asking questions, and if you have, fantastic. It's just not come up. If you haven't, hopefully you can in the future. But I'm pretty sure if you want to contact Shaun, because Shaun does more than just Bitcoin, of course. Shaun, you do IT as well, like computer building.
yeah, I work for myself, as a contractor and consultant. I help companies that get bought out by other IT companies or other companies in the world, and I help them migrate onto systems or into the new parent company as well. And I also do help, especially now with COVID. Back in the old world, which I like to call the old world, is pre-1st of April this year. Companies used to have an office, and people
Yeah.
full of office staff full of sitting in the office, and they what we call disaster recovery plans, where they had off-site offices. So if this building burns down or something happens, staff can go to the next office. But that plans has changed due to COVID because you don't need that second office space anymore for people to work. So the disaster recovery plan is you're going to work from home now. You need to have access. How do we deal? Because a lot of companies started to get involved with cloud end of last year. There's a lot of companies just not in cloud yet, and they're looking to all these spaces to move into. So I do help corporate companies in that space as well.
So again, if you guys want to contact Shaun for those kinds of services as well, Shaun, please feel free to leave your links at the end of the video or in the comments. Feel free to also advertise on Mondays as well, because the group, I always ensure that I want people to be active in the group. Put your business links in, you know, referrals, the networking, the old school days of networking. With this virus around, they are finishing, because again, I'm telling you this as let's face it, I was ex-BNI director consultant as well as for networking area director. So for those kinds of things, it's difficult. Everything's going more virtual now. It's, the face to face is slowly dying down, and until we get new practices in place, this is going to be the new thing. Shaun, what would you say would be? I mean, you covered the future in general,
Yeah.
but what do you feel is going to really happen in, let's say, during the pandemic and post the pandemic? How long do you think it will take before Bitcoin really does replace traditional forms of money?
I think it's already sort of replaced the traditional form of money. And the reason why I say this is because we see the corporate world is taking it on. Because
Yeah.
to get mass adoption, it's not to get the masses and the people in the street to use it. It's to get the corporate world to adopt it. And we see more and more hedge funds, banks getting involved in the crypto space as well. Because once the banks and the corporate space familiarize themselves and they create it and they hedge it and they put it in safe storage, that's going to give the ordinary retail person who saves his money in the bank more confident his money is going to be safe. Because not everybody's going to be technically good enough to use Bitcoin at this point in time. People like to be safe. They want to like to feel that their money is safe when they have the money and they get involved in a savings in something new. They want to make sure that the well-known bank actually deals with that and can look after that for them as well. So I think we're sort of in the beginning stage of this mass adoption for Bitcoin going in as a investment vehicle, as a peer-to-peer system where ordinary people are going to get involved in it and people are going to use it in different ways. But I think the mass adoption will come from the corporate side first. And because if at the moment it's a little bit rough and rugged when people use it, so you need the corporate space to make the integration much more easier for the ordinary man in the street to just use the tap his card or put a PIN number in and it works with a plastic card. It's to get them to start understanding how to use a QR code. I think we're going to start seeing in the next 4 years, I say 2025, we're going to see a lot of changes in this space, especially if the central banks keep testing out the central bank digital currencies, which I think is going to give us all a major influence on how to get involved in the cryptocurrency space. And Bitcoin is the granddaddy. Open the doors, get involved in Bitcoins.
And I think that's going to be the case because, again, looking at history, just in general, it's never been about, international disputes that causes wars.
Yeah.
That's a factor. The key driving factor has always been the finance.
Exactly.
You look at the First World War, it was the empires, but they crumbled because their finances had also, like what you said, the mode of money, it changed down to zero. Like for the Ottoman Empire, they just lost the war because there was no finance there. The British basically outstripped them. You look at the Second World War, the cause of it was Germany, paying vast amounts of money to, based upon the treaty, I believe, of Versailles at the time, and it almost bankrupted the country, and that's what led to the rise of far right extremism. And we're seeing the same kind of thing happening now. Not the far right extremism, but the general trends in finances is changing all the time. And again, yes, more and more people are going into credit, more and more doing more borrowings at this point in time, because of what we're seeing with furlough and so on and so forth. So sooner or later, people are going to be looking at different ways of putting their money to one side that inflation is not going to erode away the buying power of their money, and Bitcoin seems to be the safer bet. At this point, again, whatever happens in the future happens in the future. But if you've got the corporate, the central banks, the federal banks, the national banks all coming together and saying, yes, this is the right thing, we're going to see a massive change. You're right. I definitely see it in the next 5 years. Shaun, we've come to the end of our interview. Believe me, this has been fascinating. If you guys have really enjoyed this and you want to find out a bit more, Shaun does have his own Facebook group and he does have his own fan page and website and teaching and mentoring, and it really is fascinating stuff. Feel free, get involved with him. Shaun, please feel free, please leave. Actually, how can people get in contact with you?
Well, the best thing to do is it's on my T-shirt as well. You can see that say the Whale Business Club.
Well,
So
business club.
all you have to do is go and Google Whale Business Club, and you can find our Facebook group. You'll find our website. So that's the best way. Send me a message via Facebook if you want as well. If you want my personal phone number, I'm more than happy to give it out to people as well, because it's the only way we connect and learn. So yeah, start off with the Whale Business Club, Google it, and send me a Facebook message. I'm in this Facebook group as well of Addy. You can pick me up from there, and you send me a message.
There was one final question. Can you get fractions of Bitcoin for free?
There are ways and people who does that, yes, as well. There are companies that offer fractions of Bitcoin for tasks to do, so you don't have to spend money on it, but you have to do like fill in surveys, and it's a time-consuming way of doing it. So there are different ways you can do it in that way. So yes.
Well, if you have any links like that, please put them in. You know, there will be people who've been watching this that may very well want to earn some Bitcoin, but have a little bit of time in their hands. I'm not saying because of furlough or any other reason like that, but again, it helps. You know, spare time. You know, not everyone can work 24/7. Not everyone's at a job for more than 40 hours or 48 hours, unless you've opted out in the UK. So, guys, thank you for joining in tonight. Shaun, thank you for giving me this time. And, you know, anyone who's continued watching right to the end, thank you. You know, I appreciate it. If you watch this on the replay, again, just let us know that you watched it on the replay. If you watched it live, let us know that you watched it live and what did you enjoy about it. And I wish you all a very good weekend. Just keep following us. And again, every Monday, put your links in for your business. I'll be back next week. We'll have another guest and we will be doing this all over again. If you've got any questions in terms of mortgages, 90%, all the rest of that kind of stuff, we're going to be covering all of that. Get your questions in throughout the week and I'll be more than happy to answer them. In the meantime, guys, have a wonderful evening as well. Take care of yourselves. See you later. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.